Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to Guildhall. In the words of Bob Dylan and a few other Motown stars, change is coming. That's a certainty. When Martin Harvey and team got the board together to talk about the impact of Brexit, a couple of things went through our mind. And I was struck by John Pienaar's comments, for those of you who watch such things, both over the past few weeks and on the actual day. And his language was fascinating. He almost used the language of game theory. He said the event is a close-run thing. The polls were up and down. So-and-so was chosen, so-and-so failed. And it had all the language of game theory. The difference between the game theory and we who run businesses is on the 23rd we had tens of thousands of people to look after, and also on the 24th. We didn't have the option of saying, I don't like the result, I'm off to my house in Tuscany, I want my life back. Our clients, both internally and externally, were expecting us to come up with some scenarios and strategies. I want to share with you a little bit how the modest financial services guys with their specialism in IT, the discussion we had. First thing, I think it was Steve Harmon that said, this is just like Y2K. We can make a killing here, $3 grand a day for changing code. Hang on a minute, it wasn't. Maybe we oversold Y2K a little bit for those of you over the age of 40, where you were getting $3 grand a day for COBOL coding, because if you recall in those times, planes were going to fall out of the sky. Nobody understood. We hadn't digitized a 0-bit. Do you remember those days? There are a couple of people nodding. A couple of the graduates have no idea what they're talking about because they weren't born. But we bigged that up. We made a bit of money. And we went, well, maybe this Brexit thing is a bit more serious. And the older members of the group picked up ERM. Let me remind you of the horror story of ERM under the reign of Chancellor Lamont. 16th of September, my birthday, 1992. The pound was pegged to the Deutschmark. When we extracted ourselves in a rather clumsy way, the FTSE fell to 2,200. Let me repeat that, 2,200. That's lower than any financial crash in terms of any of you ever been alive. But something odd happened within a year of 1992. And Ian Cowie in the Times summed it up beautifully. He said fear was replaced by greed within a matter of months. And between 1992 and 1997, the FTSE specifically went on the most significant bull run in the history of this country. And by 1997, the FTSE stood at 6,938. Now, I'm not saying exactly the same will happen in Brexit, and those of you at coffee, last week we heard that Brexit would cost us 4.5 billion hit on our economy. The week before that, the Daily Mail was saying it's fantastic, life is wonderful, and then a couple of days later we've heard that passporting may be a more significant hurdle than we ever thought of. But it's an opportunity to grasp opportunities. It's almost as if the city, certainly epitomized by this phenomenal building, the City of London, which probably next to Bridgetown, Barbados, is the most amazing, flexible and diverse city known to man. That's a quote from Boris Johnson's book, by the way, on London, which he didn't mention once during the Brexit discussions. It's almost an anthropological thing which managed to absorb change, risk, and come out the other side. We as a population complain when it's raining and life is terrible. We then seem to dust ourselves down and get on with it. So I'm a glass half full person. But having said that, we know there are some real and present challenges to deal with.